Just like the first one, it is on par. Macaulay Culkin is fantastic, yet again in a role, and it's set in New York with a cameo from that dickhead, Donald Trump. I do love all three movies in this franchise. They're all fantastic. But for me, this one was trying a bit too hard to have too much involved. I think my favourite part of number 6 was probably the inclusion of Paul Rudd. Otherwise, there's not really a lot that's very memorable about this one. Bit crap, really. Even though it's the 4th in the series and it's not got Macaulay Culkin and it's just following the standard home invasion, kid alone thing, it's still quite fun to watch. Admittedly, I found the first one slightly more enjoyable. Pennywise was still a badass in this sequel, and I think everybody involved brought their A game. I enjoyed it. Now, Richie Rich, one of Macaulay Culkin's best early pieces. I like it. A bit of comedy, bit of hijinks. Basically just an all-round family fun. It's not Christmas until you've seen Home Alone, and it is a perfect, feel-good comedy with a little bit of mischief. Fantastic. For me, definitely one of the few sequels to a movie that actually holds up against the original. Hilarious from start to finish, loved it. Quite like Straight Outta Compton, it was interesting to find out some stuff about NWA and, the history of the group and whatnot. And overall, I thought it was a decent little movie, well made. It is so far, to date, the only movie I've ever seen in the cinema that actually received a standing ovation. And it was well deserved. Yeah, to be honest, kids very much may enjoy this movie, but if you're watching it as an adult or a parent, there's not really much to entertain. There was plenty to love with the Detective Pikachu movie. I loved the nostalgia, taking me back to my childhood days of playing the game. And quite frankly, I think Ryan Reynolds made for a cracking Pikachu. This movie was much like me in the club after a few drinks. It's about shit for 2 hours that nobody cares about and they can't wait to get away from. Bit of an adrenaline rush of a movie. I quite like it. Keanu Reeves works very well with Sandra Bullock. I think there's a lot of tension, some good twists in this movie, and overall, it works well. So, next to Black Panther, the most overrated MCU movie in existence so far. Definitely my absolute favourite Batman movie of all time. Heath Ledger is perfect in the role of the Joker, and Christian Bale is yet again on point. Somewhat of a cinematic masterpiece in my opinion. Rami Malek and the rest of the cast perfectly envision the members of Queen. Fantastic. I'd say Martin Lawrence, he definitely doubled up on the comedy with this one. It was a great little sequel. Rare that you get decent ones that follow the first ones, but hey ho, this one nailed it. I found it to be a fun, enjoyable sequel. Not everybody's cup of tea, but you know what? I quite enjoyed the song choices, I quite enjoyed the performances, and I quite enjoyed the fun. See, I wasn't aware it was part of the Alien series when I watched it in cinemas, but from what I remember, it was a decent little movie. Fantastic tension, sci-fi was on point. Finding Nemo. A tale of hope, love, and a father's commitment to his child. And a cute fish. Without a doubt, one of the best MCU movies to date. This one solidified Tom Holland as my new favourite Spider-Man. The visuals were fantastic. Overall, perfection. The mature humour that comes in at points makes it very obvious this is a Seth Rogen film, but I quite enjoyed it. A lot of hilarious parts and all the actors involved were fantastic. This was an interesting continuation for the series, more like a reboot for me in some parts. But it was watchable, but it wasn't really on par with the originals. Marlon Wayne's on point from start to finish. Absolute class. Yet another Wayne's Brothers spoof. Gotta love it. Paranormal Activity, Yard's Queen. I'm very glad this wasn't part of the MCU because the graphics, the acting, the casting, everything was a bag of shit in this one. It was an absolute masterpiece of an animated movie. I would highly recommend it to anybody that likes cartoons or comics. Hell yeah. What a load of shit. A lot of people seem to hate on the third Child's Play, which I admit is not the absolute best horror film ever, but I think it's half decent and I really liked the look of Chucky after he gets his face sliced. This movie was a hell of a lot like me right after waking up. The vision was blurred and you ain't got a damn clue what the hell is going on.